idea, born in the state capitol, fueled by students at Cal Poly, and embraced by our community, ended up winning an Emmy Award, and more importantly, gave Californians a new way to see democracy in action. The idea first came to me in 2011 when I was working as a chief of staff in the California State Senate. At the time, the traditional media covering state houses was collapsing. I think we're all familiar with how social media kind of broke the media model, and we saw that very much in the halls of the legislature. Fewer reporters meant fewer eyes on the legislative process. Citizens and community organizations had less and less visibility into how decisions were being made and into what was really happening in those hearing rooms where policy was getting shaped. People are surprised to learn that despite being one of the few full-time state legislatures in the nation and the fifth largest economy in the world, California produced no records of anything that was happening in the thousands and thousands of hours of legislative committee hearings every year. I tried as a chief of staff unsuccessfully to convince the legislature to create an official public record of those hearings. No surprise, they refused. So when we left Sacramento, former State Senator Sam Blakes and I co-founded the Institute for Advanced Technology and Public Policy at Cal Poly. So now here's the good and maybe the bad thing about working with students. They don't always know about boundaries. So while legislators had worked tirelessly to create a boundary limiting public visibility and access to the legislative process, our team of computer science undergraduate students blew right through that boundary and hacked their way into the legislative video feed. Before AI was even part of the public conversation, these students built an early version of speech-to-text systems, even using facial recognition to identify speakers, and created the first free public searchable database of every word spoken in the State House, along with identifying more than 10,000 witnesses, speakers, lobbyists who showed up and provided testimony into the legislative process. And we called it digital democracy. So, fast forward a few years. In 2020, Cal Poly partnered with CalMatters, a nonprofit journalism organization focused on State House reporting. And we embedded this technology tool into their investigative reporting wing of the organization. But the platform is more than a tool for reporters. It's a tool to empower the public. Working with a team of investigative reporters and CBS News, the platform helped expose how lawmakers were avoiding votes on important issues such as curbing the impact of fentanyl by increasing penalties for fentanyl trafficking. This legislative practice was brought to light by a group of grieving mothers who had lost their children to fentanyl overdoses. That investigative reporting package, part citizen advocacy, part investigative reporting, is what won this Emmy Award. And while that's a tremendous honor, what it really represents is something much larger. A local team of faculty, students, and partners blending technology with a public need to empower citizens, strengthen journalism, and shine a light on democracy. And here's where I want to bring it home to our community. This is not just a Cal Poly win, it's our community's win. Because this is what happens when a region believes in innovation, when we invest in young people, and when we refuse to accept that government just doesn't work like that. So the Emmy is really nice, really nice. But what I'm most proud of is that our community proved that big ideas can come from right here on the Central Coast. And we can lead the nation in strengthening civic life. And that, I think, is something that we can all celebrate together. So congratulations to everyone here for being part of a community that sees a need, marshals resources, and makes our corner of the world a little better. Thank you.